Oh shit, we're here. Oh, I'm
Yo,
turning down the
what?
wrong thing. There we go. Music is now down so everybody can actually hear us.
This is
And
the
my mic is
first
peaking.
one
That's awesome.
this is the first one in 3 weeks that where we don't start it with the sound of me hacking up a lung, and
Yeah, we timed
that
that pretty well
we're
this
kind of
time.
yeah. Get that out of the way.
Okay. So I'm messing with my microphone because it keeps clipping. Okay, that's maybe good. I'm gonna leave it there. Um, hello, internet. Wait, that's a different thing. That's Matt Pat?
I maybe it is, but I think of that more as like a Dan Howell, isn't it?
I think of it as a different one of my podcasts that I love listening to. So
Wait, now
it
I'm
no
trying to
longer
think. Did
runs.
did Dan Howell or did Game Theory do that first? He's like, "Hello, internet, welcome to." But like, also Dan was like, "Hello, internet." And it's like, I guess it was just the thing you said at a time,
Yeah, I mean, it is just also a greeting. It's
right?
not very unique.
It sounds weirdly singular for an internet thing though, because like it sounds like a almost a little piece of sarcasm.
Well, anyway, so this episode is starting with something that happened right before this episode started airing. Essentially, my microphone keeps peaking, and I need to turn it down. There we go. That should help it a little bit. So I on TikTok, which I know you don't watch TikTok, but maybe they've made it to YouTube Shorts. There's this guy who is roll for soda, and so he has this like little list or a bunch of little lists. He rolls the die, and whatever the die lands on is what he puts in his soda. And sometimes it's garbage, sometimes it's pretty good. But it made me want to try experimenting with sodas, along with some other reasons. And I did that this morning. I did it a little bit last night, mostly a this morning thing. So currently, what I am drinking during this episode, if I remember correctly, it is a strawberry apricot Red Bull. Some just extra sparkling water to make it a little bit of a taller drink than a Red Bull usually is. Raspberry and tangerine syrup with
Ooh.
Starburst jelly beans in it.
Oh, you put like solid shit in there.
Well, they've dissolved by this point. The point
I
was to have them dissolve.
I still say that's like putting solid stuff in there. I'd say that's risky business, but like I get where you're coming from.
It is risky business. I don't typically like it, and
No.
I thought the jelly beans were gonna float. They did not float.
Oh no.
So they sank to the bottom, but like I
They
waited a
became
pretty long
sediment.
while until they dissolved fully before drinking. So like there's not any solid in my drink right now. Um, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I have actually. Would you have any way to tell us what ratio you have? Because I assume the ratios are like really important in this.
Also, it's the full can. It's like the regular Red Bull can of their strawberry apricot.
Mm.
I've added maybe 50% of that can in addition to, or I have added what 50% would be of the can of just sparkling water. So it's like a can and a half of liquid.
Mm.
Um, like, do you know the kind of drink syrup viscosity? Do you have any idea of how viscous it is?
I
Because
I
it's not
like
like
to
the full
think I do,
maple
but
syrup. It's a
like
little bit
I
more
would
liquidy,
assume
but it's
that.
not just water.
Yeah, because
Um,
like there's no way you're mixing maple syrup like rapidly into something the way that a soda machine would. But
yeah,
okay, when you get those like, you know the at fucking like convenience stores, those like plastic little like flavor droplet thingies for water, like is the
it's a
consistency of one
little
of
bit
those that
more
makes it
viscous than that, but yeah,
okay.
essentially.
Okay, I see.
Um, so like because I just kind of poured it, I didn't really think about it. But it's like a half-second pour of each of the syrups that I used. Um, so like not a huge amount, but definitely maybe a little bit more than I should have done.
I like
Um,
that you're using time rather than quantity because this
I
is
don't
like
measure my shit.
well, no, because the specific reason I say this is because like I have a feeling. So okay, if someone's to like, this is just the general concept in my mind of like of swamp water. Like you take a cup at whatever eating establishment you're going to, and if they have a soda machine, yeah, bam, 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 and
Yeah.
like as far as I could tell, that's generally standardized the speed of it, but you may not actually know fucking looking at it the measurement quantities. I appreciate you doing the time bit of it because like I think that's actually something someone could try and replicate. That's good. Anyway, yeah, continue.
Yeah, it's I do vibes based on how much I'm putting in. If it feels like you're gonna have a heart attack, maybe dial it back.
Or lean
Um,
in. That's up to
yeah,
you.
like
That's pick your
quarter to
flavor.
half a second of pour. Um, and not like a I tipped the thing upside down and pouring it. Just it's a steady pour.
Mm,
Um, and then I added like a
responsible, tactful pour.
between 5 and 10 of the jelly beans.
I feel like 10 is a fucking lot.
It
I
is. I did have
yeah.
to go back and add more of the sparkling water after I drank a little bit to balance it out because it was very strong. But
Like,
it's
yeah,
now very good. I mean, like I said, it's all vibes based. If it's a little strong, just put some more sparkling water in it and you
yeah.
neutralize it.
I, okay. Firstly, as just like a side question here, how do you feel about just seltzer? Is it something you fucking hate without being accompanied by a flavor, or is this something you're just bored by?
Yeah, no, I'm one of the people that thinks that just straight seltzer or sparkling water tastes like battery acid. Like
I
it is
think it depends on where
horrible.
it's coming from. I think that like so if you're gonna get like a 2 liter soda, okay, I'm in Canada, so
We have
if you
two
get like
liter
a
bottles in America too.
no, the reason I say I'm in Canada is good to see you, Al, by the way. The reason I mentioned that I'm in Canada this time is because the reference point that I have for outside of a restaurant, like having seltzer, is President's Choice 2 liter. Like that's a Canadian brand. I think it's like a store standard. Um, yes, we do have bagged milk, but we never get it because it doesn't feel practical for us. Anyway, I also know a lot of people born and raised here that don't get bagged milk. They get it cartonized. But anyway, so yeah, when you get like the grocery store seltzer, I think that shit is hard to fucking swallow. But if it's from if it's from like a fast food joint, I'm like, oh, I think it's just the kind of bubbles that are in there, and I do not know what kind of terminology to use to differentiate between. But I'm like, the ones at the restaurant do not feel like they're lesser; they just feel like they're less abrasive. I don't know how to explain it. It's just that
So
is how it feels. Yeah.
the one we got is the San Pellegrino sparkling
Mm,
water. And I hate it by itself. Mixed in with a flavor, it's perfect.
okay,
So
that makes sense.
I literally think I just hate sparkling water. Every time I've tried it, it's been like, this is horrible. I
Yeah, I'm not a
would rather
seltzer
drink
lover.
anything else.
I am a seltzer like if I am thirsty and there is only there's only seltzer, then like I have my preferences, but I'm not gonna pick it as opposed to other fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like I will likely quicker pick just plain water, even if it's warm, than seltzer.
I
Well,
think I
no,
would
if it's a
rather die than drink warm water, actually.
actually, okay. Here's a line that I did not think I was gonna draw. If I also, I do not know if it's about the size of the bubble. I am not a scientist, but if somebody else would like to weigh in on that at some point, who's a professional, that'd be great. But if it's between a cup of warm standard water and ice cold seltzer, even the shitty kind of seltzer, I will take that. But if it's like both of them are on equal playing field, I'm just taking the water. Like, but I will say though, I do love the swamp water philosophy. Anytime I have the opportunity, 100% I am going for a swamp water mixture. And so yeah, I am familiar in this avenue, but with regards to who I think you're specifically talking about, who you got this from, at least in this venture of yours, I have not seen them like through my own findings on social media, but apparently they're also on Instagram Reels because my partner sends like watches them with me a few times. And so at 2 o'clock in the morning on occasion, I'll be watching some of them. And I like, so if we are talking about the same person, what I like is that, yeah, they seem to give some like quantifiable measurements, and there's something about like dice rolls that I couldn't figure out how they were using them. I was tired at the time. But yeah, I like when there's math put to it, but I also like when I just go in and, you know what, whatever instinct and destiny has in store for me when it comes to the ratios of these things. That's what I'm going with. And
that's how I do all of my food related things. I like even if I had a recipe, I'm not following the numbers. I'm following God.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and that's also like a standard like old cooking way of doing things. Like there's a lot of recipes that my dad got from his fucking ma, who like the recipes just include like what was it? Like a spritz of this and there was a specific word. It wasn't schmutz. It was close to that, but just like, a dash of this and and a sprinkle of that. But like, she was not up on measurements, and my dad isn't either. And I can only speak for my dad's cooking. He has only mostly ever made delicious shit, and so I'm like, you know what? If it works, it works. Yeah. Oh yeah, unless you're baking, then okay, then you say you're out for the most part, Owl. But yeah, I think baking, at least as far as
baking
I've heard,
is a science.
Yeah, like I think, if I'm correct, I think baking is like one of the only actual venues of cooking where like you really need to get up into the measurements, and it makes a like detrimental effect on the food if you do not keep up with specific shit like that.
You have to get everything just right, or else it's all fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like
we have,
and I like the experimentations.
We have a lot of different flavoring. So we have the main ones. We have a blue raspberry syrup. We have tangerine, green apple. Oh gosh, what all did we get? We have vanilla, a s'mores one, which I'm iffy on. I liked it when I tried it, but we'll see how well it pairs with multiple things.
A s'mores soda, okay.
Yeah, a s'mores syrup. I think it's for like coffee, but I'm gonna try it in other things. We tried it in a little bit of Pepsi, and it was fine. I liked it. Gosh, what else do we have? We bought a ton this morning, and I don't remember. There's a great.
I was just gonna say, I would think a syrup for coffee and a syrup for soda would like actually like function differently, because they're supposed to interact with a different kind of beverage, like different consistency as well. Because coffee is commonly, if you're the kind of person who's bringing syrups in, it's a little thicker, I would think, than a soda. Yeah.
Not really. I would say, like, while the syrups are a little bit more viscous than, say, water, not by a lot.
Okay.
Barely. So they dissolve pretty well, especially since, like, I'm putting in carbonated beverages, so they're getting agitated by the carbonation.
I also think, like, if I was going to get into something like this, like, my comfort zone with a swamp water is a soda machine, where all of what I'm dealing with on my end of things effectively is just soda. I know that like when it's coming out of the thing, it's combining the syrup and syrup and the seltzer. But if at home I'm just doing a mix between seltzer and a bunch of syrups, I'm like, I feel like I'm unqualified for this, and me just going based off of taste and vibes is gonna fuck something up. Well, you said you could just add more seltzer if it does fuck something, but I'm like, this is
unless you just get like two flavors that don't combine. If you're putting like chocolate
Yeah.
syrup or something with, a
Yeah.
beverage that is. If you're putting chocolate in Sprite, I think you're gonna have a
Chocolate
fucking
and Johnny
bad time.
Candy. Oh, oh, wait. If you put chocolate syrup and Sprite in there, then like, I feel like my brain would be like, this should be curdling. Right, like, like,
Yeah,
and
I
be
I do
weirded
need
out
to
that
do
it's not.
research about how to make a cream soda.
Mm.
Because like I tried to just put a little bit of heavy cream in one, instantly curdled.
Oh,
So
wow, yeah.
I'm gonna have to research how people do that.
Would you want
Um,
an egg cream? Because that's a little simpler. That's just a spoonful of ice cream in there.
yeah,
No, that's a root
it's
beer float. An egg cream is different. I forget what that
yeah.
is.
I didn't know. I've never heard of an egg cream, so I was like, maybe that's just the weird Canada version. Um,
No, no, because my mom grew up with those. Hold on, let me Google this. Um, yeah, you could keep going. I'm gonna try and find
I think
this.
one of the
Yeah.
jelly beans was not fully dissolved and just got stuck in my straw.
Oh God, that's a nightmare. Um,
It's fine.
an
Just
egg
blew
cream
a
is
little bit. It's fine.
a cold beverage consisting of milk, carbonated water, and flavored syrup as a substitute for an ice cream float.
Okay.
Okay, so it is in the same genre. I was on the right track. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get a Soda Stream. Well, a different brand, but maybe.
What's wrong with SodaStream?
I think they're pro-Israel,
Oh, well,
something of the
that's
sort. They're
that's just scrumptious.
pro-war. Um,
It's really funny. I'm sorry. It's like not funny because it's like real consequences, but I'm just thinking like them going, "Let me help." And they're like just fucking 2-liter bottles across the thing.
yeah, they
That's
actually it's a pop-top grenade.
I think we have not enough separation from any given conflict that they may be in any way like have a hand in. So I want to stop joking about this. This is my fault.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Um, but yeah, so far, so we did a couple different ones. The one that I made for Liz this morning, well, she had a couple, and so she's probably going to be wired all day because she had 2 Red Bulls she basically chugged.
Good God.
Um, because, like, once you add other things into it, it doesn't feel like a Red Bull anymore. So you're less
Like
careful about how you're eating.
this is the
Um,
like super white lady that had the bright blue beverage at a bar, and like she's just falling over this shit. Like it doesn't even taste like.
um,
Yeah.
but there was one, it was watermelon, and I added green apple into it. The green apple syrup. So it was watermelon Red Bull, green apple syrup, and we have these freeze dried Jolly Ranchers that have watermelon and green apple flavors, and just put a few of those in. A few, it's 2 of each, which is probably still way too much sugar. We're gonna have fucking diabetes, but it tasted amazing, and then the freeze dried Jolly Ranchers dissolved. And then it's the most dangerous drink in the world because it just tastes like water Jolly Ranchers.
Oh no.
And they're delicious.
I part of my thing about a good swamp water is
Like
it's
how you
not
keep
like I
saying
won't
swamp
do-
water as if I'm not just making new flavors of like soda. Swamp water is a specific. You're fucking it all up.
I think I'm gonna stick with the term swamp water. It feels spiritually accurate to me. But I just mixing drinks in this venue. How about that? Anyway, so my whole thing about mixing drinks in any of these avenues is this is something I will do, but I'm so cautious about when it comes to adding tangy or sour flavors. It's like, because those, you can mix a chocolate flavor with almost all of the animal kingdom. You could mix, like, it's like wearing black, it goes with everything. You know, if something is not explicitly punchy, sour, or tangy, you know, it's sorry, punchy was not a comma, but it's not, if it's not like a punchy, sour, or tangy, you know, then it will most likely go with something like a chocolate or a smoother fruit flavor, like a I'm trying to think of one that isn't tangy because like most of the fruit ones that I like are tangy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like fruit one like
I don't think the
I know it's
chocolate syrup that I've gotten is going to see very much use
yeah
because of that.
I think it's like I know that the most common flavors for something like a soda is something like a tangy, almost sour, fruity thing. Because, you know, cherry soda, of course, lemon lime. But I. I think that like fruit is just a dangerous thing to mix into dessert things as a whole, whether they're a beverage or or a physical thing. Like you know my whole thing about putting fruit in chocolate. I think it's most of the time gross. And I think that if I am putting together a swamp water or whatever thing you know you're putting together with the syrups and seltzer, um, like if I am bringing in a tangy or sour fruity flavor, then my brain for a little bit has to like recalibrate to right what works with that shit. Like I don't know if this kind of iced tea will work with that kind of pucker, you know, because that is going to jut out in the presence of anything else you put in there. Because there's other ones that can just like blend together into a harmonized flavor. There's ones that can be buried underneath something else and still be present, but like you kind of gotta look for it, and you will be looking for it because it's your drink, so you can just rely on that. But yeah, this is like you will always notice this part, so make sure it's something you will like with everything else. So that's why I'm cautious about it.
Some blueberries are pretty good with chocolate, the actual fruits. I agree. And that
Blueberries,
does
I
make me
disagree
wonder.
respectfully.
So I think I really like. There was one that was like a refrigerated blueberry covered in chocolate, and that shit was fucking phenomenal. And I can never find it again, and it makes me upset. But it does make me wonder. So one of the syrups we didn't get was blueberry. I don't think there was one, but we would have put it in our cart until we found the blueberry puree at the store. And that shit is fucking amazing in one of these drinks. I forget all what I put into the first drink I made, Liz, but it was I think it was a strawberry apricot, like I have here. I think it's basically what I have, but with blueberry puree.
I would consider the standard blueberry flavor to be more under the realm of a smoother, sweet fruit flavor. I don't think if I am about to have something artificially flavored to be like blueberry, I don't think I'm going to experience anything sour or tangy. And like with a tiny blueberry that's an actual real blueberry, perhaps, but like not with what we're accustomed to seeing standard issue from one.
Well,
So yeah,
the
I do think that could
blueberry
work with a lot of
puree
stuff.
is actual blueberry, so I think that works.
Fair.
And like, I just line the outside of the cup with it, and then it just kind of naturally dissolves into the rest of the drink. Yeah, I think it was strawberry, apricot, raspberry, and blueberry puree is what I made, and that shit was fucking awesome. Yeah, I don't know what my next drink is going to be. I need to finish this one, but I want to play around more with what I have.
I am curious in terms of all the social media things that might have come across your view. Like, is this something that you just like already were like mixing soda drinks like this? Is this something you were already into and it just reminded you, or was there something that clicked about this? Because I've seen you bored about weirder shit.
Well, I already I just like sodas in general, and I already liked the idea of like mixing my own. I just never had done it because there was outside of my old Walmart, they would have just random like businesses come in and set up shop sometimes, and one of them was this like soda and like little baked goods shop, and they had, and I don't remember everything they put into it, but it was Dr. Pepper, raspberry, some other flavor, and cream. And that shit was fucking awesome. I bought that every single day I saw them. Also, Sonic, the fast food restaurant, has dirty Dr. Pepper, which I think is Dr. Pepper, vanilla, and some kind of cream and lemon.
Oh,
That
that
shit's
sounds
also really good.
I'm not gonna count out the lemon entirely, but the rest of it sounded good, and that one gave me a question mark. Like that's all
I
I'm saying, just a
They just
question.
put lemon slices into it. It's not
Oh,
it's not a lot. I didn't even
okay.
notice it until I get to the end of the drink, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's lemon in.
Yeah, but I like my dad and I tend to share like just for our whole lives since we've seen a soda fountain anywhere, just this unbridled joy of like, oh, technically we're supposed to go up to, individual soda machines and get what we want, but it's also like, what if, what if you just like just get to feel like you're breaking the rules with it and get to make something more beautiful, like you're painting with brush strokes but in your cup, and nobody gets to know what it's like but you, just a little special specific flavor that you tuned from that place.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing, except it isn't swamp water, because I mean the reason it's called swamp water is that it tends not to taste amazing by the end of it. But
Also,
these, I mean,
yeah.
this is literally like cavity juice. That's what I've made.
I do tend to think that, like, I know that I have lower taste, like just literal taste of things standards than most other people do. I don't think that swamp water has ever really tasted bad, just like more and less actively good. But like, cause I've never been like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like when I had
Yeah.
a swamp water. But
I mean, when you have so many competing flavors, you end up just getting, this is sugar, and so it's good.
it's, I mean, I feel like most of those times I can still taste the difference. Maybe there was something guiding it that I didn't understand. But oh, what was I gonna say? I had a thing. Um, yeah, it's just it's a fun thing that I am familiar with. Is just in a different way. Um, and oh, right. What I was gonna say is, if we were like, you know, like taking a day off, and like we were at a restaurant that had one of these, and we're not like obstructing anybody. Like if there's a long line behind us, fuck knows we're not gonna do it. Like take our time wise, but if we're like one of the only ones in the restaurant and no one seems to give a shit, and we're just going out for the day, we will plan the next like little chunk of the rest of the day around the fact that we want to take our time at these machines getting a good mixture, that we also aren't like testing, confirm, or deny whether certain things work or not. We just want to sit with our mind while we do it in little bits and pieces. We haven't done that a whole lot of times. It's makes you feel like an artisan, makes you feel like you're going into like a going into a
I
canvas
feel like
studio.
you would really enjoy just having a lot of syrups in front of you and plain sparkling water and just testing out all the different combinations. I feel like that would be something you would like.
I am
That
going
sounds
to
very you with how you seem to, be in your entire life.
I see why you say that, but
It's literally improv, fucker.
part of the yes, but no, but anyway, part of the appeal to the soda machine, like already being in a soda machine, part of it is, carbonation ratios are not something you need to worry about. I when it comes to a situation like this, there's certain stuff that even if it doesn't add a substantial amount more difficulty, I may just not want to think about. But I also just could be overestimating how much I'd be
You
thinking
don't.
about it
If you
anyway.
have a good sparkling water base, you're not thinking about carbonation because it's already carbonated.
Well, I
You're
mean,
not
like if you
adding
add,
a lot of any of these syrups.
that's a
Like,
good point. I
the
think I
percentage
overestimated
you're
that too.
adding to these cups is like 1 to 2% volume.
What I think was my brain was not ready to calibrate away from was fundamentally the amounts of liquids is different between a soda machine one and syrups. You're just doing it, wait, and like that's probably most of
Yeah,
it.
you're just
Is what
getting a
I'm
little
saying.
splash in there, and you're good to go.
So yeah, I would like to do that. That's a really good point, Ashley Abstract. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah, this sounds fun.
Yeah, like I've made a ton of glasses of the soda, and I'm like still very good on the syrup bottles. Like it's not been touched really.
There's going
Especially
to be a
since
time
some
in
of them
this
are like
podcast.
liter bottles of these syrups. So
Wow. Yeah, there is going to be a time in the chronology of this podcast when you are going to make me gain like 30 pounds because of a good idea that you fucking have that you have the gall to bring into this show.
literally, I think everybody should try the watermelon Red Bull with the green apple syrup that we got, and then put the freeze dried Jolly Ranchers in and let them melt. It's a fucking amazing drink. It is
It's
better
really
than my
funny.
jelly bean
Yeah.
one. Also, these are Starburst jelly beans. They're very nice. I highly suggest the Starburst jelly beans.
I just suggest Starburst in general. We're not paid by anybody. I like those.
Yep.
They're-
Pay
they're-
us.
Okay, this actually gets into like a side tangent that we don't have in our notes. Is there like a favorite candy or a snack that you had as a kid where it's like there's a certain part of it that's too much for you now, but like something else fills that hole? Because I do have one related.
I do not think I have one of those, but what I will bring up is a candy that I don't think they make anymore. I can't see it anywhere anymore. But that is the Jolly Rancher chewables. It's not the Jolly Rancher Chews. They do have a new one, and those are gummies. This is not a gummy. This is much closer to like a Starburst gum, almost.
Oh, is
And-
it like a
but with
jujube
the-
even?
I don't know what the fuck you just said to me. I'm pretty sure that's a slur, whatever you just said.
But I'm gonna send in pictures of jujubes. You guys might
I mean,
call it a different thing.
You can say that. I can't.
It's not JEW, if that's what you're concerned about. I thought this was a universal thing. Hold on.
I
I'm
do
gonna
not
clear my
know
name.
this.
Hold on. I might be spelling it wrong too. Is it? Oh, okay. So it's JUJUBE. I'm gonna send in an image in the server. This is what jujubes look like. That's jujubes. They're like a specific texture, like kind of gummy.
Oh, I know. I don't remember what they're called. I'm not a big fan of gummies, so I don't know it, but I have seen these.
I love gummies.
Wait, let me see. I think I know. Not that. I think we call them dots.
I think dots are a little different, but I understand what you mean.
Why did that do that? Wait, delete that.
Wait, dots
message.
might just be smaller actually, because these are like at least double the size, maybe 3 times the size
Oh, but
each of
it
a
did
dot.
it again. What the fuck? In the preview, it shows it, and then when I post it, it does not.
If you just want to take a screenshot.
That's true. I forget
what I
my
do when in
powers.
Right. Windows key Shift S for those who are unfamiliar. Yeah, so we also have these. As far as I can remember, this is... I feel like these are closer to like a normal gummy texture, but I might be wrong. But I at least know that they are noticeably smaller than a jujube. Like a jujube is more... Like if a gummy bear had a slightly bigger brother.
Let's see images.
Yeah, you might want to see a comparison somewhere. But yeah,
Oh, there's
anyway.
so many different kinds.
A good a good Jolly Rancher Starburst would be fucking awesome. I would love to see that. One that
They were so
was, like,
good because it's the texture. It's a little bit more gum-like than a Starburst is, but the like rich flavor of the Jolly Ranchers as opposed to the lighter fruity flavors of Starbursts. And God, they were so good, and they don't make them anymore. And it makes me so fucking mad.
I wonder why they didn't sell well. That's not sarcastic either. It makes me wonder.
Rancher, chew.
While you're doing
Nah.
that, my favorite candy as a kid was Skittles, and I do still enjoy Skittles, but I couldn't like just fucking put them away. Like I couldn't have a bunch of them still, because like eventually, as with my adult tongue and mouth, it gets a little abrasive. It gets the kind of sugar and sour combo. Even though like this is not sour Skittles I'm talking about. It's just there is a sourness to, like, a tanginess to Skittles inherently, and it gets a little difficult after a bit. But I do think Starburst, especially because it doesn't have like a hard shell coating, that might like poke you once you get to like the sour overload, or the tangy overload. Yeah, a good Starburst kind of fills that hole. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion to like Tootsie Rolls, which are about as you guys know, the same texture as a Starburst, but chocolate flavor, and it feels like I'm having chocolate gum, and I like that, and I want more of that in society.
Hold the fuck up. Can I... Wait. They do make them still? I never see these on the shelves. Hold up, I'm gonna get the
I'm gonna see you send me a fucking picture of a 5-pound bag of these things just to make sure you're never out of them again. You're gonna be chewing on a rock hard version of these.
So yeah, apparently they do still make these. Fucking awesome. I like how each one of the flavors says naturally and artificially flavored until you get to blue raspberry.
Okay, I wish that was an intentional bit. That'd be really good. Yeah.
Oh, these shits are going in a soda for sure.
I wonder how they would dissolve. Like, do different candies dissolve differently?
Probably. I mean, considering there is still jelly beans in the bottom of this cup somewhere, that get stuck in the straw a little bit. I know for sure the freeze-dried Jolly Ranchers completely dissolved.
My hypothesis is that something with the texture of a Starburst or a Jujube is never going to... You are going to have grandkids by the time that dissolves. It may still affect the flavor of the beverage, but I do not think that's going to discernibly shrink.
Yeah, probably not. I think it's more just you're going to get a little bit of the flavor. I mean, it's like putting a slice of fruit in there, except less healthy.
The way that Ashley chokes to death is that, like, just one, it goes right to the bottom. It's the back of their throat. You forget to chew.
But yeah, I'm interested in putting more dissolvable solids into drinks. I like that kind of mechanism for a drink of just like, oh yeah, there's
Ritz
extra
cheese
stuff
crackers.
in there. That seems like a lot. But there was some other candy we got that I don't remember off the top of my head that we're gonna put in there at some point.
Put like a garlic knot in there, or a little piece.
Ugh. I do not want to stuck on garlic.
No, that makes one of us. So I also wonder, okay, I'm gonna get a little gross with this, as if I did not just already, but you mentioned curdling earlier. So, like, when one of these beverages curdles, like with an addition of, like you said, cream with it, is that dangerous to consume, or is it just gross?
I think it's probably just gross unless you let it sit.
Because you're giving me ideas. And
you would be the one to drink curdled fucking milk.
I would not drink naturally curdled milk, because that shit is vile. That is dangerous. But if it's just the texture in an otherwise good and, like, known to be not spoiled beverage, and I'm informed by a trusted friend or family member that this is probably safe, then I like, it's not like I think I would enjoy it. I just want to know what it's like. Anything that's not dangerous, I kind of want to know what it's like. Okay, I did not say I was gonna drink spoiled milk, Stellar Axel. I said that I do not want to drink spoiled milk, but curdled beverages, if they're safe, One
How's
of
it
them.
going, Stellar?
Good to see you, Stellar.
We're talking about how I've been experimenting with sodas. And we were talking about how I tried to make a cream soda and it just curdled, so I'm gonna have to learn how people do that. And then Steve wants to
intentionally curdle.
drink. No, that's you.
Yeah, right.
You want to intentionally curdle it.
If it's curdled enough, do you get like a milkshake texture, I wonder? We're gonna make a listener throw up. Do you get enough curdle in there? And it's like
The amount of sugar in my drink is killing me. It's so sweet.
You're gonna go from like 0 to like 9 cavities in like a day or two.
Yeah. This guy over here drinking blue cheese milkshake.
I'm not gonna try that one, but you did, like, it did sparkle in my mind.
I feel like you're only saying that to save face, and the moment the cameras are off.
Here's because the only conflict in my head with that one is it being cheese. Because up until now we were talking about flavors that supposedly, because you started the curdling thing with like the fucking it was standard, like, you know, nice dessert flavors in a carbonated beverage, and then you threw cream in to try and make it like you threw cream in because cream is a thing that often goes with these flavors, and it just had an adverse consequence, but not because of the flavor combination. Blue cheese, I think, would probably be a sabotagery of a flavor combination if this did work out decently. God, I cannot explain to you the length of which I'm going to physically hate myself if I end up enjoying a curdled beverage. If I'm like, I try it, and then it's like, guys, I will never have anyone join me. I will never have anyone join me on this hill, but...
You've tried so hard to rehabilitate your image around food and your terrible food choices, and now this is going to sink you right back to the bottom.
Like, I cannot imagine the timeline where, like, I know it's difficult to think of this going well, but, like, the thought of it actually going well is unimaginable for, like, what it would do to my psychology of myself. Just, you now enjoy curdled beverages. Congrats! What did you want to know? What were you looking for?
Congrats, all of your friends were right.
Congrats, you are alone in this universe. Yeah, Stellar says, yeah, that's your hill to die on and watch crumble under you.
You actually watch it curdle under you.
Right. It's gonna be like quicksand. I'm gonna be going between the curdles of this hill that I'm dying on. I feel like there's like any kind of chance that I could enjoy it, but then like later that day, I'm just going to projectile Regan from The Exorcist style, just like paint my wall.
I should. Yeah. This is completely like ADHD brain. I need to go back and get some of the sugar-free syrup options because we've gotten mostly the regular sugar syrups. I want to know the difference of taste between them because, like, I think the s'mores one is 0 sugar. I just want to know, like, how feasible it is to kind of make your own, like, Coke Zeros type shit.
I mean, sure. Yeah. If I was gonna do this, I would try and get as many 0 sugar syrups as I could, because I mean, you know how sugar affects my mental state. But yeah, it's like it wouldn't be catastrophic, but
And the s'mores one tastes fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Like, have you tried all of these individually as well in like their intended beverages?
I have not tried all the syrups independent of each other. I have tried the vanilla and the s'mores independently. But otherwise, like, those are like after this show, I was gonna go and try a few just with the water itself and no other added, just to see how they all taste. But like, I kind of know what raspberry tastes like. And they all taste pretty much how you expect if they, you know, the commingling of them is anything to go by. Because like the tangerine one, ooh, that one was so good.
Now, hear me out. But, and no, this is not about curdling. So, like, to wake up in the morning, like, put some hair on your chest or something, Ashley. Do you think you could see yourself taking any combination of these syrups and just, like, boink, boink them into, like, a shot glass and just taking them without any base liquid?
I don't think I would want to do that. They are very strong if you add in a little bit too much into the drink, and that's like with them being mixed with a lot of drink. So probably not. They do not seem like they would be very nice. But what I will say is I'm probably going to keep more Red Bull on hand for the morning to make these fruity extra Red Bull drinks to wake up with. Because I've tried coffee. We've talked about this on the show. I'm not huge on coffee, and coffee started to be good, but I mean, like, if I can just have a fucking watermelon Red Bull, put some green apple in it, and I'm drinking Jolly Rancher for the morning, that sounds amazing to me.
If you keep throwing Red Bull into these, I have a feeling you're gonna have a heart attack mid-episode. This is what's gonna happen to one of these. And
Well,
no,
I'm
Estella,
gonna try to limit myself to one Red Bull a day.
right. That's honestly, that's pretty good for a lot of cases I've heard. It gets to be a problem real quick.
Per day that I
Yeah,
need energy anyway, because like if I'm working or something, or I need to really be awake, then I will drink one. But usually I just don't partake in energy drinks.
Now, I know that you got ADHD, but I know that most folks that I know with ADHD, coffee interacts with the caffeine in it interacts with them opposite to how you'd expect. It makes them drowsier. And I'm curious if you shared that and if Red Bull has a similar effect, if so.
If I am like especially tired already, it doesn't help. It just makes me stop yawning. But then I'm still like really drowsy still, and my brain is still pretty slow. But like my body responds like I'm not tired. I don't know. It's weird. But if I'm just a little bit tired and I just kind of need that extra boost to wake up, energy drinks do fine for me. Sometimes they do too much and like my eyes go bloodshot, but that's if I drink it really fast, which I try not to do.
I've noticed there's like when I have like if I have a little bit of caffeine, then like it'll work out about as expected. But if I have like what I feel like is a standard amount, like just a reasonable cup of something caffeinated that's not too concentrated, it's like really easy for me to get to a point where like I don't actually feel less tired, but my heart is going faster and harder. Not to like a dangerous feeling degree, but like, you know, as if you maybe were like jogging down like one block. So my heart would be going harder, and like there'd be a little tingle in my hands, and I would not be able to concentrate on things for as long. But yeah, so it's like it is a really thin lip before I get over caffeinated, I feel like. But the weird part of it to me is that over caffeinated sensation does not tend to come with like an actual like, bam, I have all the energy in the world. It is just, oh, my body is in overdrive, but like I don't still feel like I could do a lot with it. Like, yeah. It feels like it's trying to rev up like the start of a motorcycle, but without actually driving it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like I said, for me, if I'm especially tired, it just like, it's like it gaslights me. It's like, no, you're not tired, but I am. No. No, you're not. Like, you're not yawning
your brain
anymore.
Thinks you're wired. But then you lift your arm and it's like,
Yeah. No, it got me the other day at work where for some reason my brain read acetaminophen as amphetamine. And like not only did it misread it, and so I was thinking like, oh, this needs to go into the locked cabinet. I vocalized it to another person out loud and was wrong. And I was like, I need to go the fuck to sleep. I can't even read these shits anymore.
World's greatest pharmacist, Ashley Abstract, distributing methamphetamines on the fly.
Hey, at least I wanted to put more in lockup than needed to be instead of the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you
If
tend
I'm
to do
just
with people as well.
leaving amphetamines just sitting around, I don't lock up people that don't want to be locked up.
Do you not tend to?
It depends. It's, it's not family friendly.
I was like, I don't know where you go with it, particularly, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's been the soda escapade for right now.
I did not think that was gonna take 50 minutes. I'm not upset about it. I really
it went for a while.
You could not have told me that was going to happen.
Do you drink soda a lot?
Like less than I used to. It's just like I explicitly look for zero sugar varieties, but also it's like here's the thing with vocal practices, like for performances, I tend to just like it's just inherently less helpful to have a soda in your system, and I know that I enjoy water, so it's like become more of a. It used to be a super common thing to like have a zero sugar Dr. Pepper, slamming one in like a standard time, like a lunch time, or to get like a tiny hit of caffeine, and just enjoying that. And I do love me a Dr. Pepper, but now I'm like, listen, if I know that I really, really enjoy water still, and I want to avoid a bunch of these effects, then yeah, I just, it's more of an occasional thing now, which I do feel bittersweet about, because it is fun to involve a bunch of it in your life, but yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have, like, lowered how much I do, especially since, like, right after the move, I was drinking a lot, but that was because the, like, tap water here sucked. It's better now. But I think I'm going to play around with these like Red Bull based ones for when I need caffeine, and then play around with some zero sugar syrups for me, some sugar based ones for other people that like the artificial flavor is not very good to them. It's like, that's another thing, like depending on which artificial sweetener, people have vastly different reactions. So
yeah,
and I'm not just making it for myself. I have a bunch of people that I want to also treat to it.
Yeah, we're also in my house trying to keep aspartame out of the house as much as feasibly possible, because one of the gentlemen living here is up there in age to the point where he actually really actively should be looking at his aspartame consumption, especially if he likes it as much as he does. Yeah, so we keep an eye on it.
I wish I had the 1 0 sugar we had to see what they use, but that's all the way downstairs, and I'm not going to grab that.
Yeah, that's legwork. That's not fun.
So I think that's going to be our one topic today, main topic. I'm going to touch a little bit on gaming. I'm going to change the title real quick. Save. Okay. One thing I did want to go over, because I just saw it. For anybody wanting to try out a new a game that is free, apparently there was this game I loved, Fury, Furi. It's one of those kind of boss rush kinds of games. You're like just trying to get through a bunch of bosses, figure out their patterns, yada yada yada. There's apparently a demake of it by the people that did it originally. Let me see. Self, that's the developer, I believe. Or no, they just made the demake. So I guess who made the original Fury? Let's see. The Game Bakers. and self-developed the demake. Which you know the concept of demakes.
I was about to ask. I have my interpretation of what a demake is, but I want to kind of verify it. Because like when I was a teenager, I explored a few of these. Isn't it like you try and make like a game that has like better graphics or more elaborate mechanics? Then you make a version of it that resembles a simpler, probably older game.
Yes.
Okay. Because I tried like a God of War one back in the day, and a bunch of and I think a Portal one and a bunch of others. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what this looks like. I'm gonna look at the trailer real quick. So it looks kind of like a Castlevania style, like 2D platformer, but with much more mechanics for fighting.
Yeah. This plays right into my gimmicky heart. I hope that they still make demakes. I would okay, actually, this is a little hot take, and I cannot verify this. Someone can correct me if so. I have a feeling that just a really high budget demake is the Lego Horizon game, the Lego version of that Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a demake necessarily. Demakes are kind of, they mainly live in the indie space, to where they're kind of going for these like 90s Super Nintendo-esque visual styles and gameplay.
Yeah. There is no modern game that I enjoy that I would not really fucking enjoy seeing a good attempt at a demake for. Like an Uncharted or a fucking now I'm trying to think of games. That new Indiana Jones. There are classic Indiana Jones games though. Now my mind's running a blank. You
might really like. It's not necessarily a demake. There is a 2D Metroid style Mummy game called The Mummy Demastered.
Does it have Brendan Fraser in it?
I don't think so. But it looks really good. All of the reviews I ever heard about it is a really good game for no fucking reason.
Oh. Wait, what's it called again?
The Mummy Demastered.
The Mummy Demastered. I'm just gonna write that down here.
And so, but yeah, so Fury demake, free until June 23rd. Okay. So grab that while you can for free. And let's see what other. So another game. So we're gonna end on this with me talking about a game.
Okay.
There is every week I have a gaming time with one of my old friends, and we tried. This isn't the game I'm going to be talking about, but we tried a game that was supposed to be this like puzzle horror game called Labyrinthine. We didn't really care for it. We refunded it. It's not very good, in my opinion. But we wanted something else like it, and we both grew up at the same time, so we like SCP as a general idea. SCP-5K is an amazing game. It's a co-op tactical shooter, and it's currently in early access. It has like a mini campaign and like a decent amount of the first like third of a full campaign mode. Fucking amazing game, looks amazing, plays amazing. I cannot sing its praises enough. And it has a really good variety of SCPs in it, and they're not just all the ones that like, oh, they run at you and you just have to gun them down. It's like at times it's that kind of shooter, but not most of the time.
So how much, like, what's the ratio of horror to action in this? Because like I mostly associate an FPS like that with action.
The first level was more scary on the scary end. It was all co-op, so I didn't really feel scared for any of it. But the first level, they bring in SCP-173, the one that Weeping Angels. And obviously you can't kill that one, so it's a little bit more scary. than anything else you deal with in the game. But it's mostly like, once you kind of know it, it's not going to be as scary going through it. But like, I'm trying to remember all of them. There's one that is like, I don't know how to describe it. I've never heard of the SCP before playing the game, but like it inhabits screens and will, if you like, it forces you to look at it if it has line of sight on you, and if you look at it for too long, your head explodes or whatever. That one was a really difficult one to get past. It took us a few tries.
So you say if it's in your line of sight or if your reticle is on?
So if you could feasibly have line of sight on it, even if you're looking the other way, it will turn you towards it.
Oh, I see.
So like you need a physical object in between you and it before it'll like let go of you. It can pull pretty damn strong to where like you're not even seeing where you're going anymore. It also like clouds your vision and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you see it first in like an auditorium, so it's the entire auditorium screen, and then you get that turned off, and you're like, "Oh, thank God!" And you go to the next area, and it's like a mini mall, so there's screens everywhere.
Oh no!
And yeah, that one was difficult to get past, and like very enjoyable. I really liked that. So it's not just like you're going around and shooting a bunch of like attackers, it's you're shooting out the screen so it cannot inhabit it.
Oh, okay. It's funny that you mention a Weeping Angel style one, because that kind of follows with like that which holds the image of an angel becomes it. Yeah. Yeah, but
there's that one. I'm trying to think of the other ones. So the mini campaign they have is The Flesh That Hates, I believe. And that's more like that one's spooky and also more of just your regular shooty kind of game. Really good. I'm trying to think. There's these like chicken beings. They're like huge chickens, not chicken jockey.
I'm sorry, I had to. You had a pause.
There's these huge chickens that I'd never heard of as an SCP before, but they were fucking weird. And hit really hard. There are these like huge spider crabs, which I'm very glad they're huge spider crabs, because otherwise I would not be able to play this game. I hate spiders, and they like teeter on the edge.
Yeah. What's the crab ratio?
I mean, it looks like if you look up a picture of a spider crab, it looks like that, except they're huge.
Okay.
So like, it just looks like a spider crab.
I just forgot a spider crab was a thing, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. And like, for some reason, it's really weird, my brain, because that doesn't trigger my arachnophobia, but if it looked like more of a real, like, regular spider, it would have flipped me out.
What about like spider crab but with spider legs?
Yeah, I would not appreciate it as much. No.
Okay.
Don't like it.
I see.
There's also these like overgrown plant vines. I don't know which SCP that is. But that's also a very cool mechanic they put in, because like there's vines that block your way forward. And to remove the vines, there are these bulbs you have to shoot to kind of like agitate the plant away from the area. But as you shoot the bulbs, the plant retaliates, and there's these like little spindly mouths that come off of it that shoot darts at you that can easily like 2-3 shot you if you're not careful. Like, it's a phenomenal game.
A lot of this seems like straightforward fantasy horror, like, you know, like taking a serious approach to it. But stuff like the giant chicken, like,
I have no fucking clue what SCP that is.
Well, I'm not necessarily wondering what kind of SCP that is. I'm wondering, like, how much of a heavy hand in comedy does it have? Because there's only so seriously you can get the audience to take it, the player to take it. with it being a giant chicken? Is it like a little moment of funny brevity despite it also still being difficult, or is it that there's
No,
common themes of comedy?
it is. I do not think. I think there's like some comedy throughout. I would not necessarily say it's a funny game. I mean, they look horrifying for sure. It's some weird chicken something. Let me see. I'm on the page for them. Apparently, combination of silky chicken, chimpanzees, stout, muscle, and human DNA.
Oh,
Yeah, they're fucking freaky. Also
Also,
send you the Weeping Angel, not looking, but like acting one.
mhm.
And I'll put that
so
one
I
in the
didn't realize you were
Ashley
sending me stuff in
Verser.
our
I didn't want to
DMs
send the
that they-
chicken one. It's a little more freaky.
Oh yeah, well you could set it with a spoiler, I feel like, but
You can.
uh, that, yeah, I can see how that would be like a Weeping Angel style character. That's fun. Also, we're
Yeah,
not putting
also,
a Weeping Angel on the
This
server.
the sound that this thing makes when it moves, because you can only hear it move, you don't see it move.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the Weeping Angel where it turns into stone when you look at it. It's always the statue. So it's just scraping along the floor as fast as a Weeping Angel could. And so the sound is horrifying.
Yeah,
Especially
I know
if it
that
can't
Doctor
quite
Who-
figure out how to get to you. And so you just hear it in a corridor running back and forth trying to figure out how to get to you.
God damn. That is incredible. I know that during a lot of, like, for instance, the Matt Smith era, in Doctor Who, there was, like, a bunch of instances, which personally I liked. I know they're kind of controversial, of, like, getting to see little pieces of Weeping Angels moving because the characters don't see them, but also, suggestions that, even when you don't see them, suggestions of you can hear them moving in a stone-like form, which I guess, like, within Doctor Who lore, I don't think it's out of the question to think that maybe they can, like, gradient their way between stone and between their, like, natural physical form for the purpose of staying like, oh, this is not, is there a human there or is there not? It's I'm now, like, flickering between whether I can move or I can't, so I'm, like, dipping my toes in physical form, but I'm still a creaky stone. And so, like, sometimes they do have those stony sound effects, and I like that. But yeah, this sounds similar, and I enjoy that concept. I do want to say, before I forget to mention this, though, about the Mummy Demastered, a real quick note, two things. Firstly, did not expect at all that this was going to be based on the Tom Cruise one. Secondly, and, like, that's not a strict issue. If it's a good game, it's a good game. But also, I did not expect this to be an official, universal licensed game that was probably a tie-in. I thought you meant this was like a fan project, because that's what I most associate these with. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This was, I believe, Way Forward. So the people that make Shantae. Gosh, what else? The Way Forward's done a fucking lot of games. Way Forward.
I don't know Way Forward at all, but I'm gonna look through
they've
their
been
catalog.
doing the recent River City Girls games. Switch Force. Let's see, what else have they made?
They do a bunch of games that I've, like, vaguely heard of, and I think I know people who enjoy them, but I know absolutely nothing about them as far as I can tell. Yeah. Oh, DuckTales Remastered. I know a little bit about that.
Oh yeah,
Just
they
a
did
little.
that.
That's cute. Yeah, that's about all I know about them.
Yeah, they've been known as, like, pretty fucking good developers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do you tend to get
yeah.
into SCP stuff, or is it, like,
I like
is it something that
SCP.
just has, like, it has to spring up for you, or do you look for it?
Every now and then I'll find, like, a video explaining an event that happened in SCP lore or whatever. I don't really go out and look for it. I knew this game was really good. My friend bought it for me, so I played it. It's really good. I liked the old SCP Containment Breach game. Also, thankfully, this game does not have a blinking mechanic.
Oh, that one did? Okay.
Yeah, the
All
old
right.
SCP game had it. This new one, SCP-5K, does not have a blinking mechanic. SCP Containment
100%.
Breach does. And
Yeah.
like, it's really cool. And I think an update made it a little bit better, but originally the blinking mechanic was always on. Um, and like, for better or for worse, eventually they updated it to where the blinking mechanic only activates if the Weeping Angel SCP is near enough to you for it to matter.
Fun.
But that's also like a spoiler of like, oh, I'm blinking now, and I didn't see it.
Yeah. I like okay. The one like SCP thing that okay, because for the most part, I treat SCP content the same way as I treat the back rooms. I think that just by and large, as I know of it, I have found everything that I will personally enjoy from it. Though I don't. Okay, I will say I don't feel the exact same way as I do about the back rooms because, as I've mentioned on here, I think because there's certain stuff I have to re-mention because I think I only said it in the banter era. But I with the back rooms, I lost interest nearly immediately once people started adding actual monsters in there. The interesting thing to me was always the psychological horror of it just being eternally empty and inescapable. But with SCP stuff, I think monsters are cool. I do not like when anybody tells me about a cool SCP, I just think about it as like a cool creature in a story. But the concept of SCP itself and all that stuff is like cool. It's like mildly interesting, but then I'm like, okay, SCP, great. But like, what do you mean by SCP? And then like, I just treat whatever monster as like an individual thing, or whatever creature I should say. The thing that though super duper catches my interest when it comes to SCP content, though I don't often seek it out because I had a tough time finding it back when I tried. My partner showed me these really creepy in the right way videos that seemed to be like, I think it was like a series of images and maybe even camera pan arounds of like environments that I think the implication is that like the SCP is this particular environment, like it's a, let's say, a little motel that you might just drive past and think nothing of and not get involved. But then like if something attracts you to it, then like, you know, you are involved now, and the whole thing is like this genuine sounding like informational, like here is what you might come across and here's how you need to navigate it. And it's like a like it's not as if like they're in the hotbed of it right now. It's more like somebody after the fact like writing a book of their, you know, of their travels and like, you know, making sure just super straightforward, almost emotionless, that, you know, like how to navigate this if ever you come into that trouble. I will eat that shit up, and that so far is the only specifically SCP thing that I've gotten into. But that game does sound interesting. Yeah.
I love anything cognito hazard labeled for SCP. I think those are some of the most interesting things. So a cognito hazard is not something like the Weeping Angel where it's a hazard because it wants to directly like snap your neck or something. A cognito hazard is something that just knowing about it is hazardous to your well-being.
Yeah, info hazards, is that, I think that's in
that is also one, that is a type of cognito hazard, I believe.
Yeah, because I think I first heard about that from like cryptids from Wendigoon, right?
Yeah, probably. He goes over SCP every now and then.
I didn't know that was an SCP concept, an info hazard. I
mean, it's a general concept. SCP just kind of takes it and runs with it more than a lot of other things do, in that I've seen anyway.
I see. But yeah,
one of my favorite things is like, I need to reread it again to know exactly what it was. But the one, the only thing you might have heard about it is you do not recognize the bodies in the lake. let me see. I'm reading it right now. So it's an SCP that materializes as a bunch of like a group of corpses floating in a body of water. And in the file for it, it says the identity of these corpses are cognito hazard remove, automatic change unknown. And let me see. It hosts a powerful cognito hazardous effect, causing those who have viewed this SCP are aware of certain parts of its nature or who enrolled in something that got redacted to believe the individual instances of the SCP are human beings they recognize, typically from childhood.
Oh, yeah. They always have little elements of something. It's just like with me with SCP, it's like, oh, me having heard about it feels like I have consumed enough. Like it's not like most of the like with something like that. I feel like theoretically I could find a story I could read about where like it becomes more of an interesting thing. It's just with most SCPs, I feel like I have had my fun once I have heard the concept, and I just get to like toy around with it for 5 seconds in my head.
Yeah, I mean, that is
I
how a
think
lot
part
of
of it,
SCP is disseminated as opposed to their stories. They're just like, oh, this is a thing, which it kind
yeah.
of hurts SCP as a whole because there are really good stories that are made using these SCPs. Um,
I think something that hurts it in my mind is just that like it's one of those things where and I think like Marvel has been similar in your life a handful of times, but like uh, there's just been a bunch of times when like I without my consent I was made hyper aware of this thing that apparently everybody else thinks is so incredibly interesting that I feel okay, cool at best about. Like I like and so it's like I have it's kind of like with anime where it's like it gets difficult to get so into it because the people who are into it are like perhaps prolific in a space that you occupy, and they will probably always like it so much more than you do and have this like discrepancy of levels of passion in a particular you know about this particular topic in a place that you might be familiar with, and so that might taint a thing as a whole for you. But yeah, for me that's generally SCP, to where it's like I am cool hearing about a thing and then like maybe I'll consume a story, but I kind of have to ignore that it's an SCP thing, kind of like with FNAF as well. But when it comes to info hazards specifically, uh, I do have somewhat of a superstitious mind. It's not huge, but it's like I get a little bit like I'm naturally a very paranoid person. And so like I there are some superstitions that like I can't help but buy into, I almost feel like. So with an info hazard, I don't want to consume a lot of them, but once I did, I think it was the basilisk was the one that I actually like. You know what? I'm not gonna stop this video. I'm gonna hear his explanation of this basilisk one that's super popular, and I want to know what the flavor of an info hazard feels like in my. And that feels like I'm taking a bite out of it, but you understand what I'm saying. And then I heard about it, and I'm like, I am kind of like when I saw Hereditary. I am glad I consumed this once. I'm good now. I don't need any more info hazards. Yeah. But like if it's about seeing it, I think I could do a lot more of that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to find one of the like bigger stories for SCP. Oh, that's not in the like canon SCPs. Which SCP's canon is very strange. Because you can
Is it
kind of
consistent?
label your own, like it's all everybody works on it. So of course it's going to be strange because there's no like one canon. But
Right.
I think like on high the community kind of agrees not to touch certain things. And
Like
if somebody does, they don't like SCP-1 is not
Hmm.
a there is no canon SCP-1 that we know of. There are a lot of guesses and a lot of like um mystery about it. But like I think most people would agree that like SCP-1 is not like one SCP. It's not any
What do you mean
specific
by that?
one. Like I think if you go to the SCP website and just do like SCP Series 1. Yeah, on the SCP Foundation website right now, SCP-001 is awaiting declassification, and nobody can actually go into it. Like, there is no canon SCP-1.
That's fine.
But a lot of people make an SCP-1, and it just kind of goes into, like, the apocrypha of
the
SCP.
way that you put it makes it feel like SCP-1 is something that the in-universe people who are cataloging these know that there is an SCP-1. They're confirming that at least ambiguously confirming that one exists. But even in terms of gathering information, they are leaving it the fuck alone. For what reason? Up to your own speculation.
I mean, that is one way to read it. Like, we don't know anything about SCP-1. We know there has to be one that has been given that designation, but it is blocked.
Yeah. And I think there is nothing you could make it look, sound, feel, or read like that'd be as good, of course, as like what we might ooh in our head about.
Oh, this is fun. I didn't know they put this in the website. General Notice 001 Alpha. In order to prevent knowledge of SCP-001 from being leaked, several /no false SCP-001 files have been created.
That is brilliant, and I like that so much. That little like
to explain why there are some articles about it.
For people who want to ruin the fun and take away the mystery of it, like you just go, hey, these are decoys, bitch. Fuck you.
Yeah. Like you don't know which one's true, or if any of them are true, or if they're all true.
Now, it could be that they all were like they were originally like writing true things about it, but then it has some like mind controlling capabilities to just make you think a whole different thing, and it never sticks to one story and what it makes you think it is, and so it's under the control of SCP-1. It could be any number of things. One thing that I'm curious about is like when people talk about SCPs, it feels like it's in the context of a shared universe fiction, and I wonder, is there any is there any like super popular a bunch of these are in one universe, or is there a background knowledge that they're all in the same universe, but you just ignore the contradictions if there are any because it's impossible to keep track of such an open thing like that? Or is it there's certain universes for different kinds of them, or what? Or did they just not touch on that?
I think it's like generally all the one universe. I mean, I know there's definitely got to be some SCPs that just are universes. Has to be.
Like, do you know of a specific one? Like, how does that work?
Not really. Not that I know of. I'm looking up the Flesh That Hates right now. Oh, this is a long article.
Because past a certain point, this is just like a vessel for people to experiment with like horror science fiction, like in the way that just websites like, and I don't know if I brought it up on here, but Daily Science Fiction a number of years ago, it wasn't even that many years ago, but they were going for a really long fucking time. I think if I remember correctly, we might have been toddlers when, or maybe not even born yet when dailysciencefiction.net started, and was going very consistently the whole time up until like, let's say 2 or 3 years ago. And they said indefinitely, we're pausing this. We're just, we are ending this for a bit. I don't even remember if they specified why, or if they just like had their own shit to work on. But yeah, and I have missed them, but I think this kind of thing, not that it's new, SCP's been around for a while, but it kind of fills that void if you're okay with it all being horror. Is there any non-horror SCPs that are just science fiction for the sake of science fiction?
There's like some SCPs that are just like cute little teddy bears.
Oh, like
There's
it's just
some
like
that
it's
just like help around. One of them is one of the scientists at SCP.
so it's like I assume that it's a majority horror focus though, at least in the fan base, right?
Most of them are horror. Not all of them. There are some that are literally just teddy bears. There are some that are teddy bears, but will try to kill you. I think it's Dr. Bright. Let me see, Dr. Bright SCP.
Because I will read
Let's
the
see.
fuck out of some SCPs that are not horror focused, that are like they can exist in a horror focused like fictional universe, but if it's just hey, this dude is just trying to make his way and he's this funky little thing with supernatural shit going on, like sure.
Let's see. So, Personnel Director Bright rose to the top of his field in bioengineering and abnormal genetics, got recruited by the Foundation when they picked up his younger brother, SCP-590. So there's just another dude that's an SCP.
Is
Let's see what
there-
SCP-590 is about. Object class safe. Only one guard. He's got a television. Only broadcasts children's shows. Let's see. Appears to be a young male, approximately 16 years of age. The only benefits he receives from his powers is apparent longevity, as he has not aged since his arrival at the Foundation. Although in all aspects a normal teenager, when SCP-590 touches any other human, he heals all injuries and ailments, physical and mental, they may have. As an odd side effect, 590 receives the injuries upon himself, being subjected to all the pain and the aftermath.
Oh. Okay, so before you said that last part, I was like, can I give this kid a high five real quick? I would like to, sort out some shit, the monoggin. Yeah.
When healing a physical wound, SCP-590 not only feels the pain of receiving the wound, but gains scars relevant to where the wound was on the subject. When healing a cancer patient, the tumors materialize at varying places on his body, usually along his arms or legs. Any mental healing performed is transferred directly, resulting in 590 gaining whatever mental aberration he was healing. Those wounds he receives from using his powers accumulate. Apparently, he's not capable of healing mental disorders caused by psionic induction. So, like, if an SCP did something to you, he cannot heal that.
So, now I'm wondering, like, so you said, is it implying that he can't heal from these ailments that he adopts?
Well, apparently the next sentence. Oh well, let me refresh the page because it just died on me. In Redacted, SCP-590 was bedridden and unable to leave his room due to accumulated injuries. In Redacted, 590 was put on life support, unable to even breathe on his own, shortly after he was given one dose of SCP-500, which brought him back to full health. What is SCP-500? It's a small plastic can, which at the time of writing contains 47 red pills. One pill, when taken orally, effectively cures the subject of all diseases within 2 hours.
Because like, okay, you mentioned that like that the kid is like ever, like, is basically immortal, is not going to age, and so I'm curious in terms of if there is any natural healing process in there if they do adopt all of these illnesses, because like if you like, let's say cancer is something that's not just going to go away like a cold, like is that just going to stay with him until some other SCP like that intervenes, or
I suppose.
that's fucked. Yeah,
SCP, it's like it sucks.
Yeah, it's like, well, because like this still feels like a horror focus to an extent, but no, I see what you mean. Also in the same vein as like, as SCP-1, is there like an SCP-100, 1000?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of SCPs. And also, there's especially more. So there's a classification for like joke SCPs. So it's SCP number dash J for joke. And so there's a lot more jokes, but I can imagine there's probably over 10,000 SCPs. Well,
There's gotta be an enormous amount of SCP-1-J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that's a whole different wiki.
Honestly, you are probably right. Someone has probably made their whole ass train set equivalent thing in their life, like an SCP-1-J wiki.
There is a section, other SCP, joke. This is an index of all the joke articles. If you are interested in contributing a joke SCP, keep in mind, joke SCPs must be funny. Pop culture and video game references don't work when done straight. The joke index is not a dump box for ideas that didn't make the cut for the main series. Please don't randomly write things.
I'm tempted to see if I can write a good joke SCP, but I feel like in trying to do so, I think it just fall. I don't know if it'd go well or not, but it feels like the kind of thing that sounds like a fun idea, and then I'm like, shit, where do I go here? Like, cause I am obviously not in tune with SCP culture, but
oh yeah. God, I just found the SCP. Well, it's not an SCP. It's a JJJ. Jobject Slash Uncontainable. Special enchainment procedures cannot be contained. It just changes the first letter of every word to J.
You went through that near flawlessly in one go.
Description JJJ Jizgenemic Genomaly Jafex anything that is written about standard Jinglish.
Jinglish is actually a language I'm taking up on Duolingo, but I
dump Duolingo, boo.
Oh right, oh yeah, AI focused now. Fuck, because I haven't actually used them in a while.
Jinglish is actually what elves speak.
Is it? Are you serious?
Because Santa, jingle bells.
Oh my god, I would. Because where my brain went was like Tolkien elves, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Like,
no, I know nothing about Tolkien.
Yeah.
Literally reading this webpage feels like I'm having a stroke. I'm going to put it in the Discord for you to look it up.
Yeah. Also, it's funny that I had a little chuckle for a second when that like facilitated you just saying the word jizz, and I didn't know if you noticed that it was fun.
I did notice I said jizz. I always notice when I jizz.
Has it ever gone past somebody's knowledge? God damn it.
There's SCP-Big Egg.
What is this? Is this related to the giant chicken?
No. SCP number SCP-Big Egg. Object class, it apparently was Euclid, it is now Keter, which means it's dangerous.
Oh, so someone pissed it off.
It is to be kept in a specially manufactured Big Egg carton located in Egg Observation Site 77. Why do they have so many egg observation sites? Any and all changes are to be immediately reported to the site director, who has the egg authority to call down Mobile Task Force Row 19 Egg, quote, the frying pan, to dispatch or terminate SCP Big Egg using several jumbo industrial-sized vats of big balsamic vinegar.
I'm just thinking of like the SCP equivalent of like a code red, like containment breach, and just like the supervisor you just hear over the intercom going,
Description:
Yeah.
SCP Big Egg is a scratched out big egg. And then it goes on to say an unidentifiable object masked by an anti-memetic egg field, which prevents any and all sapient breakfast consumers from perceiving it or the situation surrounding it in any way other than Big Egg. A mild yet big semantic egg property prevents SCP Big Egg from being referred to as any other official, proper, or big designation. Visually,
So,
SCP Big Egg appears to be a big egg,
so
complete with
perceiving
appropriate egg parts such as shell, membrane, white, and yolk, all of which have been appropriately upscaled to the correct big to be fitting for Big Egg. It was at one point a much smaller Big Egg, but has since increased in big since then.
when you say that it like there is no ability to perceive it as anything other than egg, like does that
Then
include
Big
breakfast or
Egg.
sorry, big egg?
Get it right.
Right, of course. So does that include breakfast, or is that just like just the fact that it is big egg?
It is Big Egg, I think.
It is big egg.
Limited research conducted using nestic egg drugs. I don't know what that means. Has suggested that Big Egg's true form might be an obese naked man who has been observed running throughout the facility yelling, "It worked! They'll never know I'm not Big Egg!" These claims are in dispute,
Okay.
as a battery of scientific tests have shown SCP Big Egg to only be to be a bird egg of unusual big. Reports of egging. That came out of nowhere.
Bless you.
Reports of egging, bigging, and general mayhem throughout the Foundation related to SCP Big Egg are to be roundly ignored, as its egg properties of big and egg roundly preclude those possibilities.
I would desperately love to see like a visual representation of Big Egg where like the chicken it came from walks up to it and it's just a little normal sized chicken and it's just 1,000 questions stem.
Experiment number 35. Testing, length, method, a standard tape measure, and an egg ladder were used to precisely measure the exact size of Big Egg. Result:
Ladder made of egg,
SCP
or-
Big Egg was found to be roughly big centimeters. Experiment number 36. Semantic resistance. Method: D Class 3455 was instructed to walk up and clearly vocalize the words egg big. Result: data egg
This is so
sponged.
detailed.
Unfortunately,
So fucking
SCP Big Egg has recently experienced a growth spurt, meaning it is almost twice as big and nearly 4 times as egg. The egg semantic
head
property is beginning to spread to egg objects nearest Big Egg as well. And there are several psychological and perceptive anomalies. The entire egg site is affected by this big problem. What do you recommend?
I have a fan theory, and it is, I what I think happened is the reason this is so fucking elaborate, and the reason it's written so thoroughly, is because there was somebody who was supposed to be studying for their final. This was written in the 11th hour before they were supposed to finally hand it in, but this was their final piece of procrastination before hopefully getting that shit in.
So what I just read is actually the first message in a conversation. So,
Oh,
what do you recommend? And then this is from Dr. Sunny Sideup.
fuck you.
And then from site director Chris P. Bacon. This is big. It's time to enact Protocol Big Egg. I'm going to authorize MTF-BE to big the egg once and for all. And then Dr. Sunny Sideup responds, "Oh, site director, not you too." To which they get Big Egg as response, and to which they reply, Big Egg.
There's a certain corner of my brain that this is scratching that I don't know whether it feels good or bad.
A big sheet of egg paper was recovered alongside Big Egg. Wow! You've just found yourself your very own breakfast menu. A limited time collection served from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. from the Waffle Shop. Eat them all and your money back. Number 1, Mr. Belgian Waffle. Number 2, Mr. Belgian Waffle with chocolate chips. 3, Mr. Stack of 4 pancakes. 4, Mr. French Toast. 5, Mr. 1 Egg, and that has a check mark next to it. 6, Mr. 2 Eggs. 7, Mr. Villager Omelet. 8, Mr. Bacon and Cheese Omelet. 9, Mr. Poached Egg. 10, Miss 1 hot fresh cinnamon roll straight from our bakery. 11, Mr. Bacon 4 thick strips or Mr. Sausage 5 links. 12, Mr. Fruit Cup. 13, Mr. Home Fries. There's a link for Mr. Home Fries. It sends me to the Wikipedia for the film Home Fries from 1998.
Okay.
14, Mr. Grapefruit. 15, Mr. Cottage Cheese. 16, Mr. Quaker registered trademark. Hot oatmeal with brown sugar. 17, Mr. Juice, orange, apple, and cranberry. 18, Mr. Coffee. 19, Mr. Tea. 20, Mr. Milk, chocolate skim, whole, or fish. And the very last thing on this thing is egg dindum, big egg, big egg, big egg, big egg, and that is the entire the entire page.
Firstly, this is making me enormously hungry. I came into this show before breakfast, and secondly, I think that this could have very well existed without I'm not okay. This is not a criticism of SCP at all, but I am saying a story like that feels like if SCP never became a thing, this would have been a copy pasta.
Yeah, I feel like SCP has to have arisen out of copy pasta.
Probably. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder. Wait, so
what came first, actually, the copy pasta or the big egg?
That's a good question, but I have a similar question that itches my brain a little bit more. So is SCP the natural evolution of the classic creepypasta?
I feel like they came from creepypastas.
I now wonder if, let's say a bunch of the original creepypastas, because there's not many that I remember specifically, but I wonder if now they have official entries as SCPs. Like Jeff the Killer is a big one that I think everybody might remember. That's the one that I always first think about. Jeff the Killer, and Annie 96 is here. I think I remember that one vaguely. That one there was a website dedicated to that one with a really good narrative UI for it. It really felt like you were watching a text exchange. Anyway, so yeah, the classic creepypastas, because I remember getting into a few of those back in the day. And I think a bunch of them could translate pretty one-to-one to an SCP scenario. I don't see any reason why not. Especially Jeff the Killer, you getting me? Yeah. I like that. I like how versatile it is, if nothing else, the SCP concept, and the fact that, like you mentioned, it's not just a horror thing. Yes, it's horror focused, and yeah, you gotta do it with consideration of the universe as a universe that's theoretically taking place inside. But this could be any creature just adapted to this somewhat standardized system that is SCP, and I like that. I enjoy that a lot, and. Yeah, I would genuinely love to just give a quick read of a Jeff the Killer SCP entry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think with that and my need to piss, it is the end of the show.
Best wishes and have a lovely time.